Everybody can draw a face with this trick.
It's Friday night and I feel alright. The party's here on the west side, so I reach for my 40 and I
How to draw male anatomy. First, draw the base shape. They don't need to be perfect. Titties. Draw the waist and V-line. Collarbones connect to the shoulders. Step on knee.
nobody move, there's blood on the floor. And I can't find my heart. Where did it go? Did I leave it in the cold? So please give it back, 'cause it's not yours to take. It must have fell when I lost my mind. Deep in the cut.
Feels like a million miles between you and me. So if you can go without it, I want you to leave. I want you to leave. Oh my God. Oh my God.
baddest thing around town. She's nothing like a girl you ever seen before. Nothing you can compare to your neighborhood. Oh, I'm trying to find the words to describe this girl without being disrespectful.
Some people asked me to draw a Stitch, so yeah, let's do that. I start with this dome shape, like a half circle with these rounded corners on the bottom. And the very first thing I do after that is I add his nose. His nose is going to anchor all the other features on his face. I add the eyes, low and wide. And one of the tricks to making Stitch look proper is that the bottom of Stitch's nose is slightly higher on his face than the bottom of Stitch's eye corners. His mouth is as wide as his entire head, and I tend to bow his upper lip upwards just a little bit underneath his nose. I open his mouth, and I'm going to add as many teeth as I can fit. And the next thing I do is I usually circle back and put the highlights in his eyes, and then I fill them in. One of the distinctive features of Stitch is these eyes that are basically one solid pupil. Stitch's lead animator in Florida was named Alex Cooperschmidt, and Alex remarked to me once that he really liked those big, solid eyes because they tended to give Stitch not a lack of expression, but even when Stitch was sitting still, he tended to look a little bit unpredictable and malevolent, even though he was otherwise doing nothing. Now I'm going to add the ears, and another Alex Cooperschmidt refinement was that Alex made Stitch's ears flare outwards. They get a little bit bigger as they move away from his face. And each one will have a little bit of a notch, a little bit of damage. Throw some hair on the top of his head, real loose. Now Stitch's body, I tend to give him this little chest that's forward, and then this arched back and a parallel line for his tummy, this concave tummy. The bottom of his body is just going to be a straight line. Think of him as a big sack of flour with all the flour run down to the bottom. When it comes time to put his arms on, I give him these little tiny shoulders, and then the rest of his arm is really just this big, again, kind of a flour sack shape that hangs low. And sometimes in a quick sketch like this, I'll just put his fingers on the bottom of his arm. I really don't define a hand unless I'm going to do a more detailed drawing of him. His feet are two little hockey pucks placed at the bottom of his body, and then I just throw his little rounded toes onto the fronts of those shapes. And he really doesn't have much of a leg. His leg tends to be just this little, like this afterthought. Like you throw this little knee on above his feet, and that's his leg. Sometimes I give him a belly button, which doesn't make any sense, but that's how I draw him.
Draw a big fat heart, and on the inside of that heart a long skinny oval. From the edges of the heart we're going to make a big U shape. Then curve a line down from the bottom of the heart to the bottom of the U. Now make this little curlicue and put a line on each of the edges. Add a few leaves and the stem and you've got a pretty cool looking rose. How did yours turn out?
Math tutorial.
The one who hears you. Tears falling down at the party. Saddest little baby in the room. Fears tell me
Body tutorial. First circle. Line of action is just a square with the neck connected. Then this shape for waist. Then this thing for hips. Triangle for arm shoulder thingy. Legs. Then boobs. Arms. Then I make the hands before connecting it with the rest of the arm. Clean up, then add shitty details. Done.
Baby, way too distant strangers. I know you don't speak my language, but I love the way she's talking to me. I can hear her calling from where you are, loving the way you wanna talk. Touch me, tease me, fill me up. Touch me, tease me, fill me up. Call me when it's after dark. Something in the way you wanna talk. Touch me, tease me, fill me up. Touch me, tease me, fill me up. Ooh, tell me, babe, tell me how you like it, babe. I don't even know your name. I love the way you're talking to me. Ooh, tell me, babe, tell me how you like it, babe. I don't even know your name. I love the way you're talking to me. Girl, the way you move, you can feel my eyes on.
I was told my eyes always start with a happy face. How to draw side profiles. Draw a circle. Make a triangle attached to it. Add whatever this is. Add some curved shapes for the nose, lips, and chin. Add a neck and shoulders. The eye is just a greater than symbol. Add details.
You're moving so carefully, let's start living dangerously.